and we'll be live on Facebook in just a second. All I have to do is get it going. So I just have put in a little thing here, and then I'll paste it, and then we are live, and then there we go. So, hey folks, on Facebook, it's me, John Caspian. I am here at my house since Giga-Bites is closed. It's Sunday, so we're not here there late. So we're now talking about Star Wars Legion, all of the details that we know. I'm going to look at the website, and we're going to go through how the combat's going to work, how movement is going to be, etc. So make sure you share this stream with anyone you think might be interested, especially those who like Imperial Assault, X-Wing, Armada, frickin' Star Wars. Yes! I love it. It's so good. So I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to bring up the main page. So let's see if that works. There we go. And bam! Here we are. Cool. So, Star Wars Legion, what we know about it is it's the 40K version of the Star Wars by Fantasy Flight Games. And so we have a core box set, which will be released for $89.95, which you can pre-order at Giga-Bites Café. Yeah, do it. Do it tonight. Do it. But you don't have to do it. But if you do it, good. Good. I'm a freaking huge Star Wars nerd. I am, ever since I think my parents' first date was to Star Wars. So I have 3 older brothers. Tells you how successful Star Wars can be as a first date option. I freaking love it. It's so good. It's amazing. So hopefully the Fantasy Flight game version will be good. It has some interesting, unique mechanics for a tabletop game, and a couple of other things, but let's go ahead and get started with it. So number one, you can go to fantasyflightgames.com and then look up Star Wars Legion if you want to see this for yourself in your own time, but since we're here live, we might as well look together, right? So, starts off, the core set will come with Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, some Rebel Troopers, Stormtroopers, and I believe a couple of speeder bikes, and an AT-RT, I believe, for the Rebels. I don't know the exact, I don't think it says the exact troops on this page for the core set, but we'll have the exact details on that soon. But it's a lot of miniatures. They're going to come unassembled and unpainted, I believe, so you do have the opportunity to customize your own force, and that's a little bit, some people are iffy on it because a lot of people got into X-Wing and Armada because they're pre-painted, so they can just buy it, open it, play it. So that's up to you if you like that or not. I like it because I'm going to custom paint my Stormtroopers probably purple. I like purple and gold. That's gonna look really weird. Never mind, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do regular Stormtrooper colors. Although I could do Sand Troopers and Snow Troopers, but they're already white, so And I don't have the Snow Trooper helmets. That would be a cool upgrade kit, though. So let's see. An inescapable part of the universe, unsung battles of the Galactic Civil War. Yeah, right. So ordering the troops around. So this is a little bit similar, I believe. It can be similar to Antares, Gates of Antares. So you have 2 ways of commanding. One of the ways is with your cards, which are priority cards. So in this case, you can order 2 units around, if you can see there. And the priority is 2 blips. And so units have, if we scroll down here, in the unit card, you'll have X amount of blips. So that allows you to, for instance, I think vehicles have higher blips. And so it says here, your first step is destroying level of control. You order your units with a command card, and then each player starts with 7 of their own chosen command cards. I'm not sure if they're shuffled. It might just be hold it in your hand. And then there's a command phase, the first of each round, where you select your command cards. And then the player with the lowest command points chosen is the one that goes first. Interesting mechanic. Makes sense. Player with the fewer pips acts first throughout the round. So if you want to be able to directly control more forces, your commands go slower. Makes sense to me. Every unit in your army has a corresponding order token showing the unit's rank symbol. To issue orders to a unit, you simply take an order token matching that unit's rank and place the order token next to your unit on the battlefield. So if you look at the diagram here, we have a token for Darth Vader in the center, as well as a token for the Stormtroopers up in the top right. So his control radius looks to be about 12 inches. Don't know how they measure it yet, but if you're anywhere within the control radius, as far as I can tell from the other pictures, if my miniature is here and he is partly within the control radius, he's still in control radius. And you can only control with your card units that are inside your main leader's control radius. So that push card, for instance, control 2 units, move Darth Vader. The other thing, which is very interesting, I'll skip down to this right now because I think it's very, very interesting, is the way that the movement works. So your movement is always measured from your leader, and then you place the rest of the squad around them in a radius. So no longer are you bound to every single model having to be accounted for with measuring. So that does speed up the game in a sense. I'm curious, though, if it really does, because looking at this diagram, you do have a single movement stick that I guess you could hold over your guy. So I guess that should make it a little bit easier. But the idea basically being that your leader, place him wherever you want strategically, and then move your squad anywhere to match terrain, to go up to a wall, so you can have all your guys move up to the wall, kind of like the picture shows. And then you could also have them over on the left side, fully on the left side, behind a building, for instance. Something like that, lined up however you want them to be. So I'll see. That's a unique mechanic that I think could work, and I'm curious to try it. You could try it with other systems if you wanted to, as a way of kind of trying to replicate it, I think. So that could be interesting. The scale of the game looks to be 34mm, which is similar to the Imperial Assault game. So it's a little bit larger. If I have my 32mm stuff, which is Warzone Resurrection, they're here. And then you also have things like Dead Zone. So these are the Enforcer faction. So those are also 32mm scale. So I think they're about this or a little bit larger. So that should be good. Let's see if we have a question. Let me see 1 second here. I can bring this up and find out. Oh, there's a comment. Oh, it's 28mm. Thank you, James. Okay, 28mm. So yeah, I think it looks to be the same as Imperial Assault from what I can tell. So if we look at the cards here, they have the same D8 system that they have for other games. So they have here, for instance, I believe this is 1 to 3 shots with that. They can also punch things. Very simple. Upgrades, their rank, speed is 2, so 2 movement thing, so no measuring with tape. You just have your measuring stick, just like in Armada and X-Wing. Here with a random token, so when you have your random tokens, Legion is 32 to 34. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I had read that it was 32 to 34. So it's a little bit larger than Imperial Assault. Okay, so they're not going to be quite measurable. Darn. I was hoping you could just take from Imperial Assault, but it makes sense that it would make it a little bit different, so you had to make sure you get the miniatures for the new game. So once you're done with your command thing, so if I do the command with the 2 pips for Darth Vader, then you reach in, you can either shuffle your remaining tokens for your different units. You can shuffle it and have it on the side, or you can put it into a bag and get it from the bag. If you take it from the bag, it's the same thing as shuffling, so I think I'll use that because it seems like a fun thing. Just put your bag to the side, and I'm going to get from Michael Althauser. He does custom dice bags. So he's Grayed Out Productions. Go check him out on Etsy. We also have them at the store. We have several of them for 40K and stuff. So make sure you grab them from him. And I'm gonna get a Imperial one because I'm gonna play Imperial, of course. Gosh, rule the galaxy. That's what I'm talking about. Rebels. Psh, I will trash talk the rebels all day long. They're terrorists, right? Let's see. Yeah, so these rocket launchers look pretty good for the stormtroopers. I don't know how he's going to aim that thing, because they can't see anyway. Thomas, when I get the chance, watch the demo team cover it on YouTube. Oh, they did. Okay. Designer also takes a few shots at a certain sci-fi game that will not be named. Oh, he takes on 40K. Ooh, shots fired. I like it. I like it. So I'll try. Thomas, could you link the YouTube video so people can watch that later? That'd be great if you could do that. So they have several things that you can do throughout a turn. The main 2 things are moving and shooting, of course, because you want to shoot stuff. I don't want to say cuss words, but you want to blow things up. It's Star Wars. We got blasters for a reason. But you can also do other things. I think you can hold off your action for a later time if you want to. Yes, it says you may even hold your action and move or attack at a later time if an enemy unit is unwise enough to approach. Who wrote this? It's a little bit too kitschy for me. If an enemy unit is unwise to approach, hold it off till later. Let's see. Movement, fast and organic. It makes sense. The movement is really one of the things that I like about this. Because I've always thought that a leader is the one that kind of orders the dudes to go around. It reminds me a little bit of RTS games, which I'm a huge fan of. Sweet. Awesome, Thomas. Thank you. I will check that out as soon as the stream is done. Let's see. I think the game turn is 5 or 6 turns. I know it says in here somewhere. I think it's 6 rounds total. And then whoever has the most victory points at the end of 6 rounds is the winner. I'm sure there's something for ties, but hopefully you should have some sort of way that there's very little tying going on. Okay, cool. And now we'll see an example of the shooting. I imagine it's similar to Armada and or X-Wing. Yep. So 1 to 3 black dice. That makes sense. And then shooting at the back of them. So each of the 4 Rebel Troopers has got their A280. 4 black dice to the attack. And then the speeder bikes roll defense die. Right. Now I don't know if this one has 2 different defense die types. So there's the white in Imperial Assault and there's the black. So I'm not sure if it has that, but that'd be great. Killed points is ties. Cool. Makes sense. Only way to win is to capture objectives. This isn't a game where you try and kill their whole squad. That makes sense because in Star Wars it never really was about just killing everybody. I mean, I guess arguably you could say that the Death Star was about killing everybody, considering it was a big ball of death. But besides that, most of the things are about certain objectives. So that makes sense. Hopefully they have a lot of objectives. I'll be a little irritated if they have, say, 8 missions. That's it, because you'll go through 8 missions really fast. It's very, if you roll a D8 and whatever that is your mission, I think that could get a little bit, like, okay, I played 8 missions in like 2 weeks. So I think a little bit more, or maybe multiple tiered type of missions. Someone can also let me know if they said that in terms of having a primary objective, secondary, tertiary objectives. I know Warzone Resurrection has it, which is a really good, it really works well for Warzone because your primary objective could just kind of be silly. There's some silly things that kind of work, some objectives don't really work, and then the secondary and faction objectives work great. There's 4 missions, but 4 conditions and 4 deployment setups. Oh, that doesn't seem like enough to me, because I know that I'm a big fan of having more, because I don't know, I guess at the same time it could make sense for super casual players who they want to play just the 4 and they want to make sure that they have the 4 memorized. So I'm sure that for larger expansions might have new objectives. I'm sure they will, Thomas. New objectives, yeah. I imagine you'll have an Endor, you'll have Hoth, you'll have Tatooine, you'll have Jakku, you'll have whatever Star Wars 8 is going to be in. I don't know planets yet, because I try to avoid the spoilers for Episode 8. It's very difficult. There's so many going around. So they will for sure have that. Rune Wars and Armada, James. Yeah, they'll have... I'm sure they'll do more objectives and conditions deployment. Deployment setups, I'm not sure. You'll have your Dawn of War style, which is on a 4x6 board as the long ways deploying. Then you'll have corners. You might have some sort of convergence in the middle, and then someone deploying around the sides. So I don't know, and then maybe opposite corners. Or did I mention that already? I might have. That's fine. Let's see. Anything else here for creating the army? Yeah, I think if it's like any of the other FFG games, they're going to have your unit upgrades, and that's going to end up taking up your side of the table like it always does. Be whoosh, flat across the bottom. And that's fine because that allows you to buy the one unit and then have things to kind of change how you want to play with it. So you could give, like here it says, during the command phase you may be issued orders as though you're in range of the nominated commander. So if you have your scout troopers on your speeder bikes that are halfway across the map, it could be useful to have the comm links and have them zoom around. And then light side only, it says choose an enemy trooper unit, range 1 to 2, and gains 2 suppression tokens. Nice. Alright. That's cool. Jedi Mind Trick, lay down. That could work. Let's see. Invitation to create an army. The core set. You have Rebel Troopers, Stormtroopers, 74Z speeder bikes. Our ATRT, just one. It says and ATRT. Darth and Luke. Okay, that makes sense. It might be 10 troopers and 10 stormtroopers. That makes sense. So 20 of those plus 2 bikes and an ATRT. That's 23 models. About 25 models in the set, it looks like. Easily splittable with a friend. That might be fun. Play out a small-scale skirmish between just a few units of massive battle. So I'm curious what people are going to be doing. What do you think you'll be playing more with this, knowing that the pace is probably going to be a little faster than other war games? It could be, I think, because I mean, if you play Armada or X-Wing, they tend to, especially X-Wing, tends to go fairly fast. Cool. James says 800 points is going to be starting full game. Core set is roughly 400 points. So if I've got 10 troopers and 2 speeder bikes, stormtroopers, and 2 speeder bikes and Darth Vader, that's 400 points. And a standard game is basically double that amount. That still seems pretty small, considering the size of 40k games and stuff. Right, 800 per side. So that's fine. Oh, and you said the core set, the entire core set is 400 points? Or each side of the core set is 400 points? So if total they're 800 points, then 25 models or so-ish for per side. Sounds about right. Yeah, Kurt, yes, it's traditional war game business model to do a core set that has a small beginning amount for new players, and then to have the availability of getting doubling up, so to speak. In GW's case, you have to do more than that, because you have a lot of different units you want to take. But in terms of things like Warzone, you get your starter set, and then you have at least 1 or 2 additional things you need to buy, typically. So in this case, they'll probably come in packs of 5 to 10 stormtroopers. I can't say because I haven't seen what the additional add-ons are going to be, but I imagine they'll come in a case of 5 or 10 stormtroopers, and that might be 200 points. Yeah, James says Darth Vader's 200 points. Oh, it's 400 per side. Right, okay. Yeah, Darth Vader's a lot of points. There'll be other heroes, I'm sure, that come out with the release. You'll have Kylo. If they don't have Kylo Ren and the new heroes, they're missing out on cash trove, in my opinion. They need to have Rey. They need to have, like, old Luke. How awesome is that? Assuming he does well in The Last Jedi, because we could talk for 2 hours about The Last Jedi and all that stuff. Because if you want to, I will talk for days about The Last Jedi, because it's going to be very interesting. I'm not sure I like the direction that they're taking Luke in, but we'll see. Because Mark Hamill said he originally didn't like what they were doing with it, and then he said he was wrong. He said, I didn't like where it was going, but I was wrong. So I'm very curious, because he has fairly good instincts. I'm not a huge fan of Mark Hamill's acting philosophies, but who knows? Oh, they're sticking to the Galactic Civil War for a while? No! If they follow Armada, they won't have supplemental units available at launch. That would be unfortunate, because Rune Wars and... I feel like Rune Wars came out with supplemental stuff at the beginning. Armada released several years ago. I think they understand that people kind of right away, the people who want to invest, are willing to spend that extra money to get the full force right away, because you're painting it all at once typically. I mean, it doesn't happen all in one day, but you kind of have your units kind of ready to paint in an assembly line, so to speak. So especially with stormtroopers, which are a very basic paint job. I'm looking at the picture right here, and you've got your black base coat, and then you're going to do your whites and highlights and shade, a little bit of shading. But these models look fairly clean. I can see a couple of messy bits, but they look fairly clean, especially for the scale. James says Rune Wars was a month later. Okay. Yes, we'll see things from Rogue One or Rebels potentially, but I think they're sticking with canonical movies first. I can't confirm that 100%, but I think the canon, the Civil War movies era, so episode 4, 5, and 6. So you'll probably have this base set, which looks kind of like Endor to me, which follows the Star Wars Battlefront games. It looks like that. And then this looks to be basically Battle of Endor-ish. So that entire 5 to 6 period, which honestly, the fact that Rebels have an ATRT, go up here. There we go. You can see that in the background. For one thing, that's a silly design. I know it's Star Wars, but you got a dude like, you got the blast shield that goes down to his, like, basically his waist. Like, that's a lot of your body to kind of get ready to be blown away. I'm very opinionated when it comes to Star Wars stuff. I mean, I get Rebel Troopers being in, like, crazy green with their pants. Like, that is a very bright green. I mean, dang. So that's a lot. And Stormtroopers, they don't care. They're a legion. You know, there's just tons of them. They don't care if they're white against desert. Or in this case, indoor. Leia is confirmed. Alex Davies said building a list with her and Luke as commanders, since you're allowed up to 2 commanders. That makes sense. I was actually gonna ask the stream folks about that, because with one commander with a 12-inch radius, that doesn't cover much of the boards. And even if they have like a 18-inch radius, which I don't think they will have that much, it doesn't look like it based on up here. So a leader radius looks to be about 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches. And then up here, there we go. The leader, that could be, I don't think that's more than 18 inches. Well, that could be a full 2 feet. I'm not sure how you're going to measure that. What are you going to use to measure that distance? Because if it's 2 feet, most of the measurement's going to be with the movement sticks. So how are they going to measure the commanders? I don't think they say the exact amount for the diagram. They don't say the distance that it is. Does anyone know? Did anyone see? All measurement with the custom tools in the core set. Okay, so they're going to have a custom tool then? Because it looks like this little gray thing here is the custom tool they're using, but why does it extend so high above? Or is that just some sort of gray line that they've put there? I don't know. Cool. So we know, to wrap up basically what we know, although I could continue talking about this forever. The cards is going to be played similarly in terms of upgrade cards. You'll have your core set, which is 400 points out of a total 800 that a typical battle will end up being. It comes with, as far as I can see, 10 Stormtroopers and 10 Rebel Troopers, 1 AT-RT for the Rebels, and 2 74Z speeder bikes for the Imperials, then 1 Luke Skywalker and 1 Darth Vader. They say unassembled and unpainted, so you won't just be able to pop them out fully painted and put them down. Something like Imperial Assault, I think, is a little closer to what it's going to be like. I don't know the material. It's probably going to be plastic or a plastic resin combination, so get your cyan acrylic. I doubt it's going to be a full plastic, but who knows. If it's like their current stuff, I believe you have to do super glue. All right, Kurt Kless out. James, you're killing it. I love it. So Kurt asks, what are the battles in size? Both sides have a similar number of models. Thematically, the Empire is always quantity over quality. Range 1 through 4, and you can break off range 4 and 3. Okay, James, so up to range 4 is your control radius for your commander. That sounds about right. And so I don't know, that's probably 3 or 4 inches, so up to 16 inches, I think, if it's a 4-inch move on one single dial. 16 inches sounds pretty good. That would cover, you'd have to have 2 commanders because that wouldn't cover a huge area. 10 squads, deployments, whatever they're calling them. Deployments. There's always an arbitrary name for it. They're always saying, oh, let's call this one a unit. Let's call this one a squad. It's super confusing. But units being a group of guys that clump together. In this case, as you can see here, unit leader. So I think they're using unit. It says Stormtrooper unit leader. And the unit can be placed. So yeah, that makes sense. Unit. It looks like this one has 4, 6, 7 guys in the unit. Although that might just be for the diagram's sake. I imagine it'll be 5 to 10 per. Range 3 is command, but shoot range 4. Okay. So if it's 4 inches, then it's 12-inch radius, like I thought. I figured it was a 12-inch. Yeah, and Kurt, that's a good question, because Empire should be quantity over quality. You should have a ton more Imperials at all times, just like in Imperial Assault, just like in Armada. Although Armada, there's not necessarily a ton more Imperials, simply because you have Star Destroyers, etc. But in terms of ground forces, I mean, Legion, an indoor, they had hundreds and hundreds of Stormtroopers and other Imperial forces. There are 3 upgrades for Stormtroopers that allow adding a regular troop, 1 with rocket, 1 with heavy gun. Sweet. James, I love that you got all this information. Where are you getting all this information from? You did you watch something, or are you there? Maybe. Or did you watch something on YouTube? If you did, send me the link. I want to see it because I'm trying to keep up with things. But there's so much from Gen Con that's just exploding my mind. So yeah, that's what we know. You can order your set at Giga-Bites Café. So message us here on Facebook. Call the store during opening hours. And pre-order. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to definitely pre-order a pack. I will split one with my brother, who will for sure want Rebels. He's a scum. He's not actually. It's Joseph who does some of our other streams. So he likes Rebels. I don't know why. I prefer Imperials. And as all good people, Imperials. All the info from the demo vid. Sweet. Okay. So everyone make sure you check out earlier in the comments the YouTube video. As soon as you're done watching this, you can catch up, and I know for sure I'll be watching it. I'm excited. It's going to be good. I like it. Anything Star Wars related. I love Armada. I haven't played X-Wing because I'm not a huge fan of the small fighters, but Armada being Star Destroyers, etc., I love it. And so this is going to be good. I'm probably, if they're going to do rules for larger battles, I'm probably going to get like 200 stormtroopers, because why the heck not? And in fact, I might end up kind of double dutying their base with Imperial Guard, because why not? And in fact, wait, who does that? Yes, Brandon does that. Brandon he's planning on doing an IG army of Star Wars stuff, so power to you. Check out the Rebel Trooper card, but he likes stormtroopers have 3 upgrade slots for figures and 1 grenade slot. The troopers have tech slots mostly, and 1 or 2 ads. If I scroll up, we can see the upgrades on Rebel Troopers. Aha! Let's see. There's this. Here's one thing. I'm not sure if there's other things that we can see. Did I scroll past it? Or am I not looking in the right place? Because this is just one page. Oh, wait, here we go. This is it. Yeah. So right here, looks like a tech, a grenade, and then I don't know what that symbol is. It's some sort of troop thing. Yeah, I got it. There we go. Yeah, so for sure they have a grenade, which is good. That's the data card, so that's tech. And the other 2 things, don't know what those are. I like it. Sweet. That's good. So I have to wait a second for the delay, then James will pop in what that is. Precise one. So the upgrade cards, I'm assuming, like with other FFG games, that you will get. So say you buy a Stormtrooper add-on, you might get special cards that go along with it. My only thing with the FFG games is that you have all the cards that you're not going to use, and they're basically just there. But you're not going to use them if you have certain builds. So if I build my Stormtroopers, and if I will do a large Stormtrooper force of mostly Stormtroopers, because hell yes. In that case, I'm not going to build a lot of things that do abilities that aren't Horde related, because Horde Stormtroopers is awesome. Freaking love it. So good. So yeah, all troop types will be able to get a certain amount of upgrades. The dice are D8. And other than that, I think that pretty much wraps up what I know for now. So head on over to the YouTube link. Please pre-order from the store so you can message us on Facebook. It's $89.95. And if you check one of our earlier posts, I think there's a discount amount from the pre-order if you pre-order it. So make sure you do that. I will check that and put it in the comments. So check out the YouTube link. Give us a message to pre-order the box set and the core set, which is here, Star Wars Legion. And then be on the lookout for more announcements as we get more details. And I'll do another live stream once I have gone through the YouTube video, and hopefully we found out more about what they're going to release from our retailer perspective. So in the meantime, I'm John Caspian. We'll see you guys at Giga-Bites Cafe. I will see y'all